Okay, so now let's start building our team details page. So first we go to app, then create a new folder here, and this will be actually a route. So it will be called team details, and inside it we have a new folder, and then we need to specify the dynamic route parameter. So it will be called, I'll just say team ID here, and inside it we need to create a new file called page.tsx, which is a special file. So let me just quickly create the UI of the page for you. Okay, so I have created our team details page structure and UI. So we have a team object here of type team that we are fetching from database get team by id, that we need to implement a function in our lib mongodb folders. So here's the structure and UI of our team details page. You can look at the code, and I will be also providing the Git repository for this project once I complete the project. So here we need a team members grid that we need to display members of a team, and here is a team apply form that we need to create for applying to the team. So let's just also modify some of things. We need the flex one here and overflow auto that we have forgotten to add. We need that, and padding of 4 also. Let's just save it. So now let's create the get team by id function, but before that we need to get a team id somehow that we can get from the dynamic route. So let's create a new interface here to pass the params here. So interface, and call this team details interface, and it will have a params property that is from fetch promise. And what is the variable name? It is team id of type string, and we need the curly braces here. Okay, and also we need to match this variable name with our dynamic route variable name, that is team id, and let's just pass it here. So params, and from team details interface, let's fetch it in the component. So let's const team id, and again the variable name must match the dynamic route variable name. So equals await params. Okay, so now we need to pass this team id variable in our get team by id function. So let's pass it here, and we need to create the function. So let's go to our lib, let's copy the function name and go to our lib mongodb and team.ts. Let's create a new function here, export async function, and paste the function name here, and it will receive a team id of type string. Then we need to return promise of type team type. Okay, so here we need the client variable. So client equals await get mongodb client, and let's just copy paste the try catch block. So copy and paste it here. Let's remove all of this, and here we need to say const team equals await db dot collection of type team type, and collection name is teams. Then we need to find one and pass in the id here that should match object id dot create from hash string, and pass the team id here. Then we need to simply return the team with exclamation mark. Okay, now let's update the error messages. Failed to get team by team id from the database. So do that here also, failed to get team by team id from database, and we are closing the connection here. So now let's just save it and import it in the page team details page. Okay, if I now save it and visit the page with correct team id that we can find from find teams page, And let me check if we have a team ID set up in the find teams page. So where it is, find teams page, page.tsx, and here we have find teams page, then team store, teams grid, and teams item. So here we have a link component and with href with the route, team details, and a team ID here. So we have set it up correctly. You can check your code. So let's close all of this and let's save it and visit the route by click on apply button. So we have logged in with, I think, Shubham credentials. Now let's just click on the apply button. Okay, so we are seeing the team details page with correct team ID, and the team name is Rangers, game is Apex Legend, platform PC, required rank gold, then a website description, and we need to implement the members and apply button also. So let's do that. So first of all, let's work with team members and display the team members here. So let's go to our team members comment here and implement a team members grid here that will receive a members array with team question mark dot members. Okay, so now let's create it. So let's go to our components folder and create a new folder here called team details, and inside it let's create a new file here called team members grid.tsx file. So export default async function. Let's call it team members grid, and it will receive a members array. So members of type that we need to create, I think, or we can just say team type dot. No, we can't say like this, we need to define it. So let's go to our types team.ts and create a new type here. Let's export it also. So export type team member type, and it will have, let's cut it from here. So x, and then we need to say, and we need to just paste it here, format it correctly, and it is giving me error. Okay, we have inside a object, let's just paste it here. So here we need to update this, we need to say team member type and array. Okay, now we need to update our actions also, let's do that also. So app, let's action team.ts, and here we are. Okay, we have no errors, that's good sign. Then we have a team members group error. Okay, so let's import it here. So team member type array, and everything is good. Let's return a div here and say members dot length is greater than 0, and inside parentheses then let's just question mark and say, then we need to members dot map and a member here, member comma index, I think, and here we need to pass a team member item. So let's create that also, but before that let's just say with a paragraph, just say no team members found. Okay, so now let's save it and create a new file inside team details components folder. So it will be called team member item.tsx, and let's create it. Export default async function team member item, and it will return a div that just say this is a team member item. Okay, so let's import it here to team member item and pass in the key. For now, let's just pass the index here and everything is good. So if I now save it, let's remove the team type from here and let's import it in here, team members grid from components team details page, and here we need to define members. So actually it is giving some error. Team type team member type undefined is not assignable to type team member type, and I think it need exclamation mark here. Okay, if I now save it, we should see a message here. This is a team member item. Okay, we are successfully seeing a text here that works because we have only a one member currently in our team, that is the captain, and later we can add on more members. So now let's work on our team members grid and team members item here to actually represent a member here. So let's work on that. So let me just quickly make it for you. Okay, I have updated my team members grid with this code. It now have a key of type member dot user id dot toString instead of index, and a spread operator object passed into the team member item. And team member item looks like this. And let me just make it like this for better readability. Press enter here and this. Let's enter here and like this, so it is now more readable. So now we need to create this function get user by id to show it in the members array. So let's create it in lib. Where is lib? And inside let's create in user.ts, and let's copy the function here and paste it below. Let's rename the function here get user by id, and we need the user id here. So let's remove this, and here we need to say const user equals await db dot collection of type user type and users collection. Then we need to find one and pass in the id as user id. Then we need to simply return user with exclamation mark. And okay, it is giving me some error. We need the return type here to user type and update the error message failed to get user from database. Let's update it here also. Failed to get user from database, or failed to get user by user id from database. That is a much better error message. Paste it here. Failed to get user by user id from database. Okay, now let's import it here. And okay, we have successfully imported it. And here this line of code is important because here I am converting our numerical team members role type enum numerical value to, let's look at our database. So here we have teams and here we have members. Then there is a role here that is have a numerical value. So here I'm just normally converting it back to string value. That's what it is doing. So now let's save and visit the team details page of rangers. So if I click on apply, it should take me to the rangers team details page, and here we have a name Dhruv Singh and role captain. So inside rangers we have members, and inside members we have a new member here that is a captain of this team, and we need to update the visibility of our border here. So let's do that. So here we have border of gray to 100 and shadow of medium. Let's give it a border color of maybe orange 200, and see. Okay, it's now visible. Maybe let's try 500. Okay, if I now save, okay, it is now brightly visible and it is looking good. So next we need to work on our team apply form where a user can apply to a team on team details page. So let's quickly make it. So let's close all of this and create a new folder inside team details page. So new folder, called it team apply box, and inside this let's create a new file team apply form.tsx. So let me just quickly make it for you. Okay, so I have created our team apply form and this is how it is looking. So here is the code. Let me just show you. Here our errors and success messages states, and here is the apply button and cancel button, and here is the main apply button that will show in the team details page. So here we have a show confirm apply box that will pop up when we click on the apply button on the team details page. A pop-up will show up that will have options of either canceling the apply form or confirming the apply box. That is handled by this function handle show confirm apply box, and here is state that we need to toggle and everything is good. So let's import it in the page here. So let's say team apply form, and if I now save it, apply button should appear at the bottom of our rangers page. So save it and wait for it. Okay, the apply button has been shown up, and if I now click on apply, a pop-up will show up, and our pop-up is shown up with message, are you sure you want to apply to this team? Then we need to enter a message here and we can cancel or apply. Okay, if I click on cancel, the pop-up should go. Okay, everything is good. Now we need to add a action to our team apply form that will apply to the team in the database. So let's create it. So it's the same process. First we need to create the initial state, then we need to import the use action state hook, then we need to pass the custom action and pass some variables here such as team id, player id, etc. So let me quickly make it for you to save your time. Okay, so I have added the initial state here, then we need to use a use action state hook here, and with a custom action here that is defined here, and the variables that we need are team id, player id, message. Messages we are getting from this state here, text area which is linked to the message state here, and we need to get team id and player id from the props here. So let's go to our page and pass the team id here. We have a team id here, so let's just pass it team id here, team id, and it is of type string. Okay, it is type of string. Then we need the user id here. Let's just save it. Okay, it is player id, not user id. So player id that we need to fetch from the session and a lib MongoDB function. So below this, let's fetch our session equals await auth and say const user id equals await get user id by email and pass the session here and email. Okay, now we need to send it here inside player id, so user id, and convert it to string because it is a object id. And if I now save, everything is good. So let's create apply to team action in our server action file. So let's go to user.ts action file and create a new function here. So export async function and call it apply to team action. It will receive a prev state of type action state and form data of type form data. It will return a promise of type action state just like the other actions. Then we need to return success as false, errors as errors, and message as empty string. So let's just create the errors array, const errors as string array, and initialize it with empty array. Okay, if I now save it and import it in the team apply form, everything should be good, and the errors in here should be gone. Okay, the errors are now gone. It is of type string and it is of type number, and we need to also pass the action here. So action equals form action, and everything is good. Now let's create the variables here and field validations. So let me just quickly create it for you. Okay, I have fetched the form data here as team ID, player ID, and a message. And here we are validating the fields team ID not found, player ID not found, and a message. If there is not any message entered by the user, then we should see please enter a message to send to the team in our form. Okay. So now let's start by creating the object of our player request. So new player request equals, let's just define it's the type, so it will be of type players request type player request, and we need to rename it. Let's rename it to player request type. Let's save it and import it here, and let's just define it. So what will it will have a player id, team id, status. So team id as team id, and we need to convert it. Yes, we need to convert it. So team id object id dot create from hash string, and team id, let's just copy it for player id. So player id and player id here also. Then we need a message of type string as message, and status of type player request status enum dot, let's just say pending. Okay, so we have created our object. Now let's create the function to register it with database. So insert result equals await. Let's just say create player request to team and pass in the new player request object. So we need to create this function. Let's go to lib MongoDB function folder. So in the user.ts type, let's create a new function here. Close this, and we can just copy paste a function. Let's just copy this function and go to the end of file. Let's paste it here. Let's just copy paste the function name here, create player request to team, and paste it here, and it will receive a new player request object of type player request type, and it will return a boolean. Then we need to say here await db.collection of type player request type. Then we need the collection name, that is player request, and we need to insert one. Let's just pass the new player request object, and if insert, and we can simply just return the acknowledgement. So insert result dot acknowledgement, and update the error messages here. So failed to create new player request to team in database. Let's just copy this and paste it here. So failed to create new player request to team in database. Let's import the function here. So from lib MongoDB, and everything is good. Now if insert result is true, then we need to return a successful message. So let's just say return success as true, errors as errors, and message as successfully applied to team. Okay, else we need to push an error here. So errors dot push, and we can say failed to apply to team. Okay, now if I save it and let's go to the team apply form and test it here. So let's just open the console window and refresh the page, and let's just apply with message, please let me in Rangers team, and click on apply. So if I now click on apply, we should see a successful message here. So click on apply, successfully applied to team. Okay, we can just cancel out here. Let's check the database here. So if I refresh our database, we should see a player request collection here. Okay, we are seeing player requests and the spelling is wrong. We need to change that. Then we have a team ID here, ATDE, that is correct, and a player ID of 69BCC68. So let's confirm it. It should be the ID of Shubham. We have BCC6A. Okay, that's correct. And status is set to 1, that is the numeric value of our enum. And a message, please let me in Rangers team. So this is a good sign. And for now our team details page is done. We can add or apply changes later, so that if we are successful in applying to team, we can open it in the dashboard by going to dashboard page and showing details there. We can do it later, but for now I am done with the team details page. Next we need to create our player details page, so let's work on that. And before ending the session, let's just commit our changes to GitHub. So let's do that here. So run git status here. So we have modified actions user.ts, lib mongodb.ts files, and created some files. So git add all of them. I should have committed at small steps, but it is fine. So git add dot and git commit dash m and say create team details page in project and let's just get status one more time. Everything is good. Let's check branches if we have. Okay, we have only one branch. Let's get log here to see if everything is good. So we have create team details page in project. Now we need to push the changes to GitHub. So git push origin main, and it is successful. Let's look at our repository here. If I refresh and create team details page in project, let's open the commit here. We have create find teams page, then we have create team details page in project. Let's open it, and this is the files and folders we have updated. So this is the everything we have changed and added. So we have successful in creating the team details page. Now let's create the player details page.